of West Virginia resound with the sounds of gold and blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 15 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tavon Austin.
The Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride.
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Boot. Not this night.
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the gold and blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast here for our game week live stream. You guys have heard our predictions, or hopefully you have anyway, with our preview and predictions podcast releasing earlier this week. Now we want to get yours, as is always the case, in these live streams. So drop your predictions for the 107th Backyard Brawl in the chat, and we're going to talk some other updates going on here throughout game week, do a little bit of uniform talk and some fun stuff along the way. And, of course, joining me to help me do that, my co-host, Steven. How's it going tonight, Steven? Steven, you there, brother?
I am freezing up. I can hear you now, though.
Okay, good. I didn't know if it was you or me. I was like, one of us frozen here. Hopefully everyone heard me.
Quite confident it's me. If it continues to happen, I'll bounce out and I'll come back in.
No worries. It's all good. But nah, man, just ready and excited with the Backyard Brawl week. I know you are also, man. Let's see. We do got some people in the chat already. Tim Green, as always, loyal to tune in and chime in. Appreciate you always, Tim. He says, let's go Mountaineers, beat Pitt. His prediction is West Virginia 38, Pitt 28. Also still thinks we have a great chance to win the Big 12 championship, as do I. And I like that prediction, Tim. Not too bad right there. 10-point win, I'd take that any day of the week.
Yeah, no doubt.
Pokemon Kid Entertainment, appreciate you, man. He says, got WVU 35-21 over Pitt, and hopes Timothy's doing better, as do we, Tim. Know you've been dealing with some illness and stuff lately. Hope you get to feeling better, man. Been praying for you and thinking about you a lot. Definitely. Gotta always have you around, Tim. You're the man, dude.
No doubt,
sure.
man. No doubt.
Other than that, let's talk some news and notes heading into this game. Some stuff that's come out this week. Just a couple of days ago, we had some news roster-wise. Actually down under 85 scholarship players now, as another defensive lineman was forced to medically retire. This time one that's a little bit younger, someone that kind of had hopes from the future. This article is from Ear Sports here. Zachariah Keith, the redshirt freshman defensive end, has announced that he is medically retiring, no longer will be part of the West Virginia roster. Brings the scholarships players down to 84 now. Came in in the class of 2023. He worked his way into conversation to play as a true freshman, but suffered an injury that sidelined him. Then he worked out in the spring and into fall camp, but suffered a setback that resulted in his decision to medically retire. So West Virginia's roster down one now with the loss of Zachariah Keith, and we wish him the best in his future endeavors, though. And of course, then the other piece of news, I don't have an article up for this one, but this is more, Neil Brown talked about it on his radio show. We talked about it earlier in the week, and that's Eddie V. Don't exactly know the timetable of how long he's going to be out, but Neil Brown did say tonight in his radio show that Eddie V will be out for what he said was a good bit. And they said that the silver lining is that he does have a redshirt year if it comes to that, and they have to use it. They can redshirt him still for this year, get him back next season. But sounds like we're going to need some guys to step up on that defensive line, Stephen, for probably a significant amount of time, maybe with Eddie V being out for a little bit longer than maybe we originally thought.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's a position that, you're already depleted at. So that's a pretty big blow to that defensive front. So,
yeah, for sure.
We've been pretty good at, stopping the run games thus far, considering, but.
True. Time for some of those other guys to step up. The TJ Jackson's been probably the biggest bright spot on that defensive line. Now he's going to move into the starting lineup. Sean Martin's going to slide over, take that defensive tackle spot. So you're going to get more playing time for TJ Jackson, more playing time for Hammond Russell and Asani Redwood. And Neil Brown also confirmed that true freshman Nate Gabriel will play some on Saturday. Going to get some snaps there for him. They like what they got with him. Good size, 300 plus pounds already as a true freshman. So he's going to get into some work there as well. So, defensive line rotation takes a bit of a hit with Eddie V being out, but hopefully they've just got that next man up mentality because they're going to need it.
Absolutely. And like I've been saying, I really think that it's a good idea to bring some of the, as deep as we are in the linebacker position, it's, it might not be a bad idea to help bring some of those guys down with some added pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good call. Well, and I think I heard on three guys, I think it was three guys today that was talking about, I believe it was Brad Howell talking about it was either the right tackle or left tackle. I believe it was the right tackle for Pitt has really struggled with his pass protection. His pass block grades have been really bad the first couple of weeks. So they were saying, whether it's TJ Jackson or Sean Martin coming off the end, that those guys could potentially have a good day getting to the passer coming up against this game against Pitt on Saturday. That'd be awesome to see. Love to see either one of those guys show out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't guess I got that far into the episode. I listened to the first half of that episode, and then I got busy with doing some stuff, but I never did get a chance to catch the rest of it.
Yeah, I still probably got about 15 or 20 minutes left in it myself. I'm up to the textual healing, but I got to finish that up.
You still texting into the textual healing?
No, I haven't in a while. I need to get back there. Oh, Winston from Princeton's got to make an appearance.
Winston from Princeton.
Winston to be exact. Pokemon Kid Entertainment, man, we're doing good. Hope you are as well, Pokemon Kid. Appreciate you asking, man.
Doing pretty good, man. Doing well.
Just counting down the hours till Saturday now at this point.
No doubt, man. It's I don't know, man. It's kind of said it, I guess, before, but the calm before the storm.
Yeah, it is. It always feels like to me, like I can get into like Wednesday is pretty quick, but then it feels like those last couple of days, Thursday and Friday, drag on. They feel almost longer than the first 3 days of the week, I guess, because I'm just so always anticipating Saturday and getting to West Virginia football. And then bye weeks, those feel like they last forever.
Oh yeah, I'm in favor of bye weeks for obvious reasons. You got to have rest for your team and things of that nature. But as a fan, I hate bye weeks.
Yeah, as a fan,
it's so boring.
Yeah. They suck. Silas, what's going on, brother? Les says, let's go beat Pitt. Indeed. I think he dropped a prediction in here of his own, and he does. He says he doesn't like making score guesses because he's usually terrible at it, but he's going with one here. WVU 27, Pitt 21. Hey, man, that looks like a good prediction to me. You got the good guys coming out on top, so can't go wrong there.
No doubt. I don't know. We've been making. I know me and Cruz have made predictions, and Brad have made predictions for at least every single game for the past 7 seasons.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't think
know what my
all
record
but
is.
one time. Yeah, me and Cruz have been because we picked the correct score one time because we had both picked that score. Yeah,
that was TCU, I think, and it's funny because actually
before that,
me and you picked it, and Tim Green picked it. It was like 24-21, and we all picked it.
I remember that. Yeah, because I remember that's what made me feel so confident, and then. I don't know. That was a surreal moment.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often that you get the exact score.
We like
were pretty close last week too, though, because I think you said 49-9 West Virginia win, and West Virginia did score 49, and I said 52-17, and Albany ended up with 14. We ended up with 49, so we were both pretty close in that range last week too. We didn't do too shabby. So
yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I gave. I guess I underrated the. The Great Danes there. Yeah,
I don't think that we were.
Seba McGee, though, man, I'll give credit where it's due. Seba that's a dog right there. He's
Yeah.
going to be somebody in the league.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how many years he has left, but if he's got another year of eligibility, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him back in the Power 5 next year or Power 4.
No doubt. Or if it, what can we discuss that for a few minutes? So, like
Sure,
the news
man.
with all of those teams joining the Pac-12. With
Oh,
the news
yeah.
coming out this morning. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome
Let me see if I can pull that up.
for the Pac-12 conference. But are they are not going to be considered a power team, a power conference, correct? Are we going back to Power 5 now? Or are we?
I don't think so, because what I think I remember reading that they've only added the 4, which they may have plans to add some more. But I think I read that to be considered or like in contention to be a power conference again, or whatever it's called, that you have to have at least 8 members. So that only puts them up to 6, I believe.
Okay.
So,
I would imagine being,
but that's probably what they're aiming for.
With that news coming out, I'm sure that they're going to be other members joining the conference. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody like UConn, with all the buzz and everything with them potentially coming to the Big 12 conference in the future, and then that always folding and never coming to fruition. I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody like that join the Pac-12.
Yeah, that'd be a good call. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just take like the entire Mountain West and kind of just merge it with the Pac-12 and make it, this one big conference. I was surprised that they only added, the 4 teams. I thought they were going to merge with the Mountain West. I thought it would just be like a full merger, but
that makes too much sense.
Yeah, it does. It's Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State that'll be joining the Pac-12. Not next year, but the year after in 2026 is how it's supposed to go right now, according to this article from CBS Sports. The foursome will officially become Pac-12 members on July 1st, 2026, which I guess those are kind of the top teams in the Mountain West, though, so not bad. But, I'm not surprised like UNLV is not included, maybe some other ones.
That's another potential one that I could see joining New Mexico State.
Yeah. Well, you would think they would want to get UNLV, get that Las Vegas market and stuff, but maybe in the future.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's risk in adding too many members at once. I don't know what it could potentially be, but maybe. Because it seems like that. It seems like conferences don't, like they do it in like groups of teams,
Yeah, they
this
usually
group
do.
of teams, and then they, later announce this group as well.
Yeah, for some reason it's not all at once usually. I don't know why it's like that. They just kind of do it in little segments like that. So maybe it'll happen in the future.
I don't know. Hopefully they start making sense with how things are ran in the future, but college football as a whole does not make sense as anymore.
It's a mess right now. It's a mess.
Yeah. It's still fun, but it's a mess.
Pokemon Kid Entertainment sharing a prediction here. 35-21. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. I think my wife just got home, but he'll calm down in a second. 35-21. Eat shit, Pitt. Pitt goes down. Hey, I love it, man. I love it. Got to get that capitalization out of there, though. Pokemon Kid Entertainment. You can't capitalize their name. You got to give the lowercase p on Pitt.
I know me and Cruz, we do that. We do the same thing whenever we're texting back and forth. When we have to say the name Pitt, it automatically capitalizes it.
Yeah, so I literally have to
go back.
Or either that or you go spit. You go to spit or you got to hit them with a lowercase p, one of the two.
Yeah. Also, they were going through, this is kind of off topic, but they were going through on Monday Night Football on Peyton with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning. They were talking about like Peyton's old signals, and his old signal for like he would say Pitt, that would Pittsburgh, but the call was this. He would do this as the call. I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
That's great. Oh yeah, I love that one. Let's see, we got TM saying he said thanks our defensive line, especially our back end, will make such a big difference in this game. If we can start getting better in one-on-ones, it will definitely turn this team around. Yeah, for sure, man. This game's going to tell a lot. That's kind of what we were talking about in the podcast, Steven. This game being the barometer, especially for our pass defense. They're going to, if they've made improvements, if they've made adjustments, it's got to show up in this game, and it's going to be the telltale sign of how good and improved that pass defense can be moving forward.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been the barometer for our defense the past couple of seasons as well. So I would expect no difference for this year.
Very true. Very true. And Silas with the perfect transition, the perfect segue. How about those white jerseys for Saturday? Looks clean. Love some white unis. Hey, thank you for providing the great segue, man, to uniform talk.
No
One of
doubt.
our favorite one of our favorite parts of the game week streams here. So let's go ahead. Let's share the uni reveal video, and then we'll share some close up pictures of it and our record in the uniform, courtesy of our friend WVU Uniforms 304. Find the uni reveal video here. There we are. All right, let's pull this up. Good stuff there.
Absolutely.
Love the
You know
look.
what's funny about that is I was playing hadn't touched the game for a couple of weeks now, but I randomly decided to play earlier the college football 25, and I played the brawl. I played the game that they're going to play this weekend, and the uniform set that I chose was white on blue.
Hey, there you go.
So
You
I feel like I manifested
spoken
that
into
in some
existence.
way.
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping for blue, white, or blue, white, gold personally, or even gold, white, gold, because I love the gold, but I think it's a good look. I like it better than the all white personally. I like the blue pants or the gold pants on it, so I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all.
I don't know why. I'm just, I love tradition, obviously, but I never have been a fan of the blue on white on gold. I've always loved the blue on white on blue, but I don't know what it is.
I really do like the gold, white, gold, but we hardly ever wear that. It's like I've
Gold, white,
only
gold, I
worn
like
it a few times.
I don't know. I feel like the blue on with the 3, it gives you all 3 colors of, well, not really anymore because we got steel gray in there, right? It's still gray and
Nah,
still
they
the color
took it.
palette, or did they replace it with coal?
They took it out with the coal rush. Yeah, just the coal rush
Okay.
now.
Okay. Well, still.
Which I'm not. I mean, I love the gray, but if I got to replace it with black, it's cool.
I don't dislike the uniform set. If I'm ranking them, it's not near my top.
Yeah, I get that. Let's look at some close-ups here. I love the fact that they always got Rasheed Marshall doing these videos, man. That's still so cool.
No doubt. I mean, like he still looks like he could play, dog. Like,
yeah, 100%. He may be in better shape now than he was in his playing days, even.
oh yeah, absolutely. I think his whole thing is fitness. Like for a while there, anyway, it was all about fitness.
Which it's also pretty cool that they did this right along the river there, because I remember walking along that when we went up to Pittsburgh back in.
I was going to say we were right there in that spot.
Yeah. So when I saw the video, I was like, "Oh man, I was there."
Yeah.
So there's one of him with the flag. Then we get the close up of the helmets again, and I really do, man. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. I love the state outline with the flying WV in the middle logo. I hope we just keep using it more and more personally. And then the canary on the visors. It's still a great look.
Yeah, it's great, man.
I didn't notice until this time right here the country roads on the chin strap. You can kind of see the tail end of it.
I didn't notice that either. That's proud. Are those also like little WVU logos on the chin strap?
I think they are. Are they? No, they might be canaries as well. I can't tell.
Okay. Either way, man, that's like attention to detail is great.
Yeah, just the little things, man. Little things makes it really pop.
Yep. Do they still do the Montani Semper Liberi on the back of
in the collar? I think so. I think that some of our unis have that, and then some of them have Q Country Roads. I think it's one or the other. I don't know which one's on which though. I do like that's one of my favorite touches to the white uniforms that we made here with this new set is adding the gold into it instead of just the white with the blue. You get the gold outline
always on that
the sleeves and the gold on the around the numbers too.
Always on that train. I liked the blue and white strictly, but I do also love these. Like I like the addition of the gold. I'm just not partial either way.
You know me, I love the gold, man. That's all. It's my favorite. And then there's kind of close up there with the numbers and the ball. So some good pictures there. And then let's take a look at our record in this set when we've worn the white, blue, which I believe we wore it last year against TCU, if I'm not mistaken. But our friend WVU Uniformers, 304. WVU's 5-2 in this combo, and it's the 13th most worn combo in WVU history. So you are correct. Good record in this thing. Hopefully we can make it 6-2 on Saturday.
I just going off of like flash memories real quick of what I had like when we wore these uniforms. So I'm glad I was right.
Definitely. You are right, my friend. 5-2 in this combo. Hopefully keep that good record going. So a little bit of uniform talk there. I think that's all I had as far as uniforms are concerned. Let me catch up in the chat really quickly, and then we'll pull up a couple other topics here. Where would we leave off here? Tim said last week, he said West Virginia 56, Albany 14. Oh, you were almost dead on. You were off by one touchdown there, Tim, by one touchdown. Tim says he really likes the white, going back to be about 85 or 86 that day. Great choice of uniform. Good point there as well. Talk is Pitt. Appreciate you, man, hopping in here. He said, if you guys believe that you're going to come into Pittsburgh, beat us by multiple touchdowns, and even more delusional than I thought, you'll have the talent you did last year. Brother, I don't know if you're talking about us, because I don't think either one of us picked a multiple touchdown win. Maybe
neither of us did. I know what our predictions were.
But me and Steven both had it as a very close game. I think it's going to be a close game for sure. But
33-30.
I think that I don't know if I'd agree that we don't have the talent we did last year. I mean, we did lose Zach Frazier and stuff, but I think overall we're probably similar. I think that it's Pitt that really has a lot more talent than they did last year, which is going to make it a better game in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. West Virginia virtually has the same exact team that they had last year, other than losing Zach Frazier and Doug Nestor, and then
Beanie.
The additions and Beanie, and then the additions that we had from the transfer portal. So.
Yeah, so for the most part, I mean, and the people that we replaced, all those guys with are guys that have been here for a long time, except for, on the defensive side, not so much, but on the offensive side, it's, kind of just plug and play.
Yep.
But I do think it'll be a good game. How about this prediction? White 200 and CJ with 100. Pokemon Kid Entertainment. Woo. That'd be
I would
nice.
love that.
That'd be nice to see. That was.
Let me tell you something. That would be not just a historic day for WVU, not just a historic day for Backyard Brawl, but that would be all-time college football level right there.
Well, I'll tell you what it would remind me of, because I just watched this. Well, I've watched 3 quarters of it. I got to watch the 4th quarter tonight because they got it on YouTube in each video is a different quarter, like first, second, third, and 4th quarter. And it's that 2006 game when we played at Pitt, and Pat and Steve both had over 200, I think, in that game. And
the Pat on the sideline.
Yeah, doing the growl, because Pitt was up, 27-24 at half, and then we held them scoreless in the second half, and we ended up, it was like 45-27 or something like that. That was the game Darrell Revis had that punt return touchdown for Pitt. And then second half, Pat and Slayton went off.
Hey, gotta love those memories.
For sure. Talkers Pitt says the issue is WVU's one-dimensional. None of your wide receivers have 100 yards yet. That's a good point. We talked about that a little bit this week. We don't really have an alpha, but I think they've been trying to spread it around. We're hoping somebody emerges there. But, definitely I think that it's more going to be by committee than having, a dominant guy that's going to have, 100 yards, in a single game. I think that they've got a lot of different targets they can throw the ball to. And really, I think this offense is just kind of focused on getting their playmakers the ball out in space, whether it's Jaheim White, C.J. Donaldson, Jaden Bray, Cole Taylor at tight end. There are some guys that can make plays, but I understand where you're thinking is with that, because we definitely do not have a dominant receiver on this offense. But I'm hoping the passing game comes out and has a good game on Saturday. But you're not wrong there, man. You're not wrong.
No, absolutely not.
Silas says Rashid, the only Marshall that counts. That's right. That's right.
Hey, he's one of my all-time favorite players in WVU history. I love Rasheed Marshall, man. I grew up on Rasheed Marshall. So
true that. Silas with a great point. The all-time best white jersey was during the Pat White era. I think that was my favorite set that we've had, was that 2007 to 2012 set for sure.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
I mean, we obviously are probably biased because that's
That was
Speaking of growing up on things, that's what we grew up on was that
True.
uniform set. I
And
remember
those were
whenever they switched. I remember whenever they switched to like just the the wing that came up, not the ones that came down like this with the patch on the side, but just the ones that came up that they won the Sugar Bowl in.
Yeah, that was.
And I remember being excited about those. So when they came out with the from the ones from 07 to 2012, like I don't know, like that was like you couldn't get any better for that.
It's like the success that we had during that era too just made you love them even more because you were like, you have a lot of good nostalgic feelings attached to them, I guess.
Well, that was probably the only time that I've ever been like negative about them coming out with a new uniform set was whenever they switched to those new ones in 2013.
Oh yeah,
it just didn't feel like they.
I don't think anybody liked that.
I've been in favor of the black uniforms. I don't mean this in any way negative about those, but like they added the black to the blue, and it just felt off.
It did not look good. And they took away, and of course we still haven't ever gone back to the glossy helmet. It went to the matte helmets. But my only positive that came from that 2013 uniform release is that we finally got gold helmets. That's something I'd always wanted. Finally did get gold helmets. So and the white helmets too. But definitely I was excited about that because I always wanted, because when we always used to do Gold Rush, up until 2013, we'd wear gold on gold, but we'd have the blue helmet. And I'd be like, man, imagine if we had a gold helmet. So now that we do, and we can go all gold with the gold helmet, I absolutely love it because it's my favorite of the colors.
Doubt. And there's so many people that are like, they're so like dead set, like only wear blue helmets. What do you think they did before 1980? They didn't have blue helmets.
They had the white helmets.
Old gold helmets and white helmets, and they interchanged them every year. So, I mean, this is tradition.
For some reason, people love. I mean, I love the blue helmets too. Don't get me wrong, but I like the variety.
Same. I like to switch it up. Show off our school colors.
Exactly.
What's wrong with that?
G Smart says he doesn't like the state on the helmet. Our brand's the Flying WV, but he likes the colors. But so that's my thing with it though, is I like it because back in the day when Don Nealon first came, he didn't like just the state logo because you couldn't really tell what it was, so he created the Flying WV. But what I like about this is you're merging both of those. You got the state logo with still the Flying WV on there as well. That's why I really like that logo, G Smart, personally.
Yeah, same. And I'm obviously a fan of like both, but like yes, the Flying WV is our brand, but the state outline is the brand of our state. You know what I mean?
True.
Like that's us as a whole. So I mean, I love the addition of that. It's weird to me that Marshall uses it.
Yeah, that is
like
weird.
They'll use the West Virginia State outline and then put the Marshall logo in it. I'm like, you're only like one little small town, and
yeah. Yeah, and it's like that's always been my argument. Is like there's not really, I don't really know anybody that's just a Marshall fan. Like anyone that's a fan of Marshall, like either went to school there, knows somebody that went to school there, right, something like that. There's not really any just Marshall fans in the state. They're just fans of Marshall just because.
I do know a couple of them. But
it's few and far between.
Yeah, not very often. They love to talk their shit, though. I will say that
they do, man. They do.
I mean, the respect factor does not go both ways. No. West Virginia, I feel like you talk to West Virginia fans, most of the time they're like, yeah, we root for Marshall when they're not playing WVU. That is not shared at all. Those Marshall fans hate us. And
that used to bug me to death. Like I've grown to where I don't really dislike Marshall, but when I was like in high school and stuff and back in the day, it would just drive me crazy because it's like no matter what they did, they would want to compare themselves to WVU, and it would just piss me off to no end. Now it just goes off my back, and I don't even really care. I'm like, why are we living in y'all's head rent free? But whatever.
I mean, you got to understand, like to be. I mean, because like to be a Marshall fan, I mean, like, and this is just realistically speaking here, like they have had good football, over the years, so.
True.
Playing in the conference that they play in. They've beaten good teams over the years. I'm not saying that, but like playing in the conference they've played in, they've had good years.
They just can't hang with WVU.
Right. But like if you're not playing WVU every year and you're still having good years, you'd still have that false confidence. I mean, like we're WVU fans. We get that.
True. Very true.
I mean, more than any fan base in the country, we can sit here and say we get that. So
touche, my friend. Buck Robinette, appreciate you sharing a prediction here. He says West Virginia 45-31 over Pitt. I like it, man. I like it. I like the confidence there. Talkus Pitt says we're missing our starting defensive tackle. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit at the beginning. I don't know if you were in here yet. Yeah, we're missing Eddie V. Sounds like he's going to be out for a little bit of time. But, kind of the silver lining there is the guy that's stepping into the starting lineup in his place has been our best defensive lineman throughout our first 2 games. He has 3 tackles for a loss. He was the highest rated transfer defensive lineman in the transfer portal, according to PFF grades, and TJ Jackson. So that's the positive side of it. Eddie V's really good. He's consistent. I always call him Steady Eddie because he's always just doing the right things, but he's also not the most explosive player. So, we do lose a depth. We do lose a quality guy in Eddie V, but I think, the guys that are going to be getting the playing time now are a little bit more flashy, a little bit more explosive. So it's not a huge loss other than the fact of losing that depth and losing that consistency.
Well, also we have, we still have what was an All-American last year in Sean Martin. So
yeah, still have Sean Martin, still have Fatorma Mulba, still have Hammond Russell, like I said, TJ Jackson, and Sonny Redwood finally going to be getting to be healthy as well. Maybe he's got a chance to, show out now because he's going to be getting some more snaps. And then we also mentioned a true freshman, Nate Gabriel, is going to get some playing time. Neil Brown announced on his radio show tonight too.
Bringing down Ty French, help giving some of that pressure into the backfield. That's going to help.
That's what I'm hoping to see in this game is we haven't really shown a lot of our, blitz packages yet this season that could use Ty French and that could utilize Aubrey Burks as well now with that spear position. So I'm hoping to see some of that in this game, get to see Aubrey Burks blitz some, get to see Ty French blitz some, and hopefully try and get some pressure on Holstein.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's going to be like, obviously, Eddie V goes down, but we're going to have a lot of guys that we've really been needing to get healthy back full this week too. Sorry if you hear my cat.
Hey, no worries. My dog was going crazy about 10 minutes ago. So Talkus Pitt with a good point here. He says our running back Desmond Reed will be the reason Pitt wins, in my opinion. He had 100 rushing yards and 100 receiving in the Cincy game. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I talked about him a lot in our podcast preview of the game. Talkus Pitt, first Pitt running back to do that. He also currently leads the nation in all-purpose yards, ACC running back of the week. And that provides a great transition because I wanted to share a clip of him for some of you guys that may have not seen him. I'm going to share a clip from Pitt's X account here because he is very talented. Came from Western Carolina, followed the offensive coordinator, Cade Bell, there to Pitt. He was an FCS All-American at that level, and he's really, done a lot of good things here at the FBS level now in the Power 4 conference there in the ACC. Rodney Hammond out for the year, ineligible. People were worried about where Pitt would go. Well, Des Reed has looked even better than Rodney Hammond and is extremely explosive. Reminds me a lot of Jaheim White. I think they're similar players, similar size, similar playing styles. But let me show this clip really quick of him in case some of you guys in the chat, especially West Virginia fans, may not know about Des Reed. He is a legit player that West Virginia is going to have to try and stop on Saturday. So here's a clip. Got some highlights in here and got some comments as well. So check this out. It's about 40 seconds long, I think.
100 yards receiving, 100 yards rushing. The guy's a football player. Performance is outstanding. I'm sure he'll be the player of the week in the ACC. If he's not, something's wrong.
Every time Des Reed touches the ball, expect a big play package.
Left pocket full of pink faces, right pocket got blues in it. I know what to do with it.
Here comes my man, Desmond Reed.
Physical, tough, all those things. Explosive, that's the word.
And that's Desmond Reed. Touchdown, Panthers.
And when he catches it with a head of steam, you ain't catching him.
I ain't settling for less. I ain't DJ Khaled, baby, but we the best.
It ain't over till it's over, man.
So some little clips there where you can see some of the moves, some of the explosiveness, some of the speed there. And really what impresses me about him, when I went back and watched their first 2 games is, you would expect the quick twitch, the ability to make people miss and the ability to run away from people. But for his size, because he's about the same height as Jaheim White, but he's about 15 or 20 pounds lighter, but he really does a great job still, breaking tackles and running through people and everything. So definitely someone that West Virginia is going to have to try and stop on Saturday if they want to have success. That should be their main key, if you're asking me, is try and slow down Desmond Reed and make someone else on that Pitt offense beat you.
I was going to say, it's a good thing you showed those highlights to see what we could actually do against somebody because he's going to be on the ground a lot on Saturday.
I like that. Yeah, definitely. I think that he's definitely, not flying under the radar anymore like he may have been the first couple of games. He's been circled on the game plan all week. So hopefully they got a good plan to try and contain him for sure.
Oh, it's been well talked about and well documented how, fast tempo and how fast this Pitt offense can play as a whole too. Not just him, but their quarterback. Everybody's talking about his quarterback. It's, a potential NFL talent. So West Virginia's going to have to do a pretty good job of containing him. Not letting him get away from the pocket like they did with Drew Aller a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. I heard somebody, I think it was one of their play-by-play guys they had on Sportsline night before last, I believe it was, and he was talking about, he's not necessarily a running quarterback, but he really does have good speed because, the GPS units that they wear, that he's been clocked as, one of the top 5 fastest players in, the past couple of games with those GPS units. So he can really run as well. And we've been hurt by that, thus far this year, especially Drew Aller did it to us multiple times when we played Penn State, and he's kind of similar build to Drew Aller and could hurt us there as well. So I think that hopefully better gap integrity when we do bring some pressure. Don't let him get out of the pocket, contain him in there, and hopefully don't let him hurt things with our legs if our coverage on the back end improves like I'm expecting it to be in this game, and hoping to maybe see some new faces there. Personally, I'm hoping to see a little bit more Jacoby Spells.
Yeah, same. Like I said before, like I'm in favor of changing some of the pieces on the back end of the defense, but I just don't think it's entirely a personnel issue. I think a lot of it lies schematically.
Yeah, agreed. Speaking of this coming game Saturday, though, we did have some positive news, I guess, especially if those that are going to the game, is Pitt did announce it is a sellout. The Backyard Brawl sold out
how that happened
Saturday. Well, it's funny because you know what the last sellout they had there was?
Us. Yeah. No surprise at all.
Yeah, the last
time they can ever sell it out.
Backyard Brawl in 2022.
And it's not even close. I mean, like you watch the games on TV, it doesn't even look like they fill up half of the stadium whenever they're not playing WVU. But then when they play WVU, and then they even posted pictures of pretty much all WVU fans in their stadium whenever they were posting stuff in the preseason.
Well, and also it doesn't do them any favors, like on TV, the fact that their seats are yellow, because literally you can see that all the empty seats are on TV where they're yellow like that. So literally it stands out like a sore thumb. I noticed that watching the first 2 games, a lot of empty seats in there. So but when WVU comes to town, they sell that thing out. Surprise, surprise.
That's why I almost posted on that and wanted to be like, you should have let WVU's team post this.
That's pretty good. Yeah, would have made sense. And
it's kind of surprising too, because they did that whole thing where like you couldn't buy a single game. I mean, I guess you could go on StubHub or whatever, but don't ever. If anybody is listening to me right now, never, ever use StubHub. It is the worst.
Yeah.
But
go SeatGeek, go Vivid Seats, anywhere else.
Yeah, any of those are great. But like they were selling them in like these little mini packages for season tickets or whatever, and I'm like, that's the only way that you're going to get people to buy tickets to your other games is if you package it with this game. You can't just buy a ticket to this game.
Yeah, I know.
Half of me wanted to buy it and then go to those other games just to root against Pitt.
I was about to say, well, I bet you are. Some of our fans did. I mean, I don't know if they'll go to the other games, but I guarantee they bought it just to get to go to the game, 100%.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know if that was probably one of the reasons they fired their athletic director this week. Which, what a week. What timing for
That's
that
crazy.
to happen.
Well, what I heard is pretty much it's one of the same reasons that we fired Shane Lyons is the NIL. She wasn't like really doing, this things the way that they thought that they could do as far as NIL is concerned, and wasn't on board with it, especially early on, and kind of put him behind the 8 ball. And I heard that's one reason that they let her go, which, hey, it's so good for them. That was a good move for us. Hopefully it pays off for them in the future too. I want them to be good. But if they are good, better games for us. So
that's true. That is one thing that we could all root for, is both teams to be good moving forward as we get back into this rivalry, because it does seem like both administrations really are, all about trying to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
For a long time, it seemed like neither side really cared, I guess, because you didn't really see any kind of push for it. And then all of a sudden, they schedule, what was it, like 2 home and homes?
2 home and homes.
And then you were supposed to take a break, probably not going to, and then have another one.
Sounds like that break might not happen. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. And then after that, who knows? Hopefully they continue to do it.
Should be every year, man. It's worth it. I mean, the only other thing I'd like to change is have it back in, November, like we used to, like all the other rivalry games.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Those games are, I don't know what it is. Like you play other teams. I don't know. Oklahoma's those games felt kind of cold every now and then, but like I don't know. When you play Pitt, those games just feel like a different kind of cold, man.
Oh hell yeah!
Like, those games
It'd be snowing half the time.
Well, you be in like 5 layers of clothes and you're still freezing.
Yeah.
You're like, how am I this cold?
And then, we got to share this, Steven. I know we talked about it a little bit before we started. Got to talk a little bit about this. This is a snapshot from the article from Skylar Callahan. Pitt's been practicing indoors all week because, as many of you probably know, Zach Frazier, Beanie Bishop, and Doug Nestor are all on the Steelers roster. They share the same facilities, so I guess he was feeling a little bit worried that they may, snoop, see something, go try and tell the WVU coaching staff, like they're worried about that, not like they have a game to prepare for or anything. So he's locked the practice doors, and they've been practicing inside. And Beanie Bishop had some comments about it. Let me pull up this video and share Beanie Bishop talking a little bit about that from this week. It was pretty funny, I thought. So let me see if I can pull this one up and share this from No Context WVU on social media.
They lock all the doors. They put our face up in the meeting, me, Doug, and Zach. They're like, oh, if y'all see these guys on the side of the building, like kick them out and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy. And I snuck over there one time in the training room. And I was just messing with them. They didn't know I went to West Virginia. So I'm like, yeah, so how y'all think y'all gonna do this week? And I was like, yeah, okay, good luck.
That's pretty good, man. That's just another thing about the rivalry right there. It's just little stuff like that just makes it so fun in a lead up to the game, even,
Yeah, no doubt. But it's funny to me, like he would choose. I mean, obviously, I guess this game's different, but he doesn't. There's teams on that Steeler roster that he's probably playing every week. Where they went to college. So
I don't know. He just does some weird shit like that with this rivalry, man. Don't you remember, like last year, they put their helmets on to run off the bus and to come into the stadium and shit. Like, so I don't know. Pat Narduzzi's a weird dude.
Tell me you don't know what is failing about your football program without telling me you don't know. This man's trying everything.
Well, he he heard,
like they said, he tried not talking about it one year. He tried to, like downplay it, I think.
Now this year he's going the complete opposite way.
And he's like fully embracing it. Like, we got the Backyard Brawl this year. I'm like, man, shut up, dog.
Pat Narduzzi.
Hey, that's
his nickname. That's his nickname for me. Is Pat Narduzzi.
Narduzzi. I like that. It fits.
It does. It's funny that it works like that. But no, it's all in good fun. With the rivalry, though. But I do think he made a good move bringing in the offensive coordinator that he did this year, because that was one of his criticisms that he got after they had the explosive offense with Mark Whipple as the offensive coordinator with Kenny Pitt and Jordan Addison. Then he went and got Frank Cignetti Jr. and they went back to like the pro style attack and had the bad year last year. So I think now going back to kind of an up tempo, more spread style that's even more up tempo than the one they were using previously. He's trying to, correct some of his wrongs. At least I think he's feeling the heat of some of those Pitt Panther fans. So he knows he needs to have a good year this year.
Yeah, no, they've been on him about not being able to win his rivalry games. Very much either. So
it's a big game for both coaches, really. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it's obviously a big game just because it's the Backyard Brawl. But whoever wins this game is going to be feeling a lot better than whoever loses this game. They're going to not be feeling so good about themselves Saturday night.
No doubt.
All right. See, I think I got a couple other things here. Did want to share this. I know most of y'all probably know this, but in case those of you that don't, some news for next week. The Kansas game, West Virginia going back home next week, take on the Kansas Jayhawks, be back on ESPN2 again, and it's going to be a noon kickoff for the game against Kansas. So no Cold Rush jerseys for Kansas. So we're looking at Iowa State. We're looking at Kansas State. Probably going to be one of those two games we finally get to see those Cold Rush jerseys.
I'm going to go ahead and call it. I think it's Iowa State.
I'll go Kansas State then, just so we're picking different games. But I think it's going to be Iowa. I really do actually think it's going to be Iowa State too, personally. But I don't want to have the same pick. But I think Iowa State would make a lot of sense. They hit us with the blackout back in 2018 to beat us. You got a lot of fanfare for that game, I think. Anthony Beck's coming back into town with his son playing. Yeah, Rocco Beck, and they're going to honor Anthony Beck too for the Hall of Fame weekend and stuff. So, yeah, be interesting. But we got another new game
you
next
said
week.
2018.
Yeah, I think that's for
Yeah.
the Kansas game. I think, which I think they're honoring like most of the Hall of Famers during the Kansas game, if I'm not mistaken. But Anthony Beck couldn't come that week, so he's coming for when we play Iowa State, which makes sense anyway because he was probably going to be there regardless.
Right.
All right, and then got another tweet I want to share, and then I'll just have one more video we'll share here before we wrap up in a few, which will be the Albany cinematic recap. But speaking of, we were talking a little bit about Des Reed and the two guys right here that remind me a lot of each other, and Jed Drenning, who has some of the best stat research that you can find. Love Jed's stuff. Talks a little bit about the playmakers in this game. Playmakers on display in the brawl on Saturday, to name a few. Pitt's Desmond Reed leads the nation in all-purpose yards with 244 yards a game, and WVU's Jaheim White is averaging 7.4 yards per carry, leading all Power 5 conference running backs last year with an average of 7.7 yards per carry. So two guys that can really take it to the house anytime they touch the ball is going to make it a fun game to watch. Just hopefully number one-ups number 0 in this game.
Hey, I see what you did there.
You see what I did there?
I see what you did there, Cruz, and I like it.
I'm
here to tell you I like what you did.
got a little tricky with the words there, a little word play, a little number play, maybe I should say.
Ooh. I like numbers.
All right. Let's see if you got any other predictions. I don't see any other predictions in the chat right now. If anybody has a prediction they want to share, drop it in there. I'll come back and touch on those one more time before we close up. But Steven, I'm going to share the Albany cinematic recap. You had a chance to check this one out yet?
I don't know if I have, actually.
All right. Well, we're going to share it, guys. Does have some music in it. So, if you're watching the playback, it might be silent for you because sometimes, when you get the copyright, you got to go back and erase the songs for those in the playback. But hey, that's the beauty of tuning into this live. You get to hear everything in its original intended version. But let's share the cinematic recap from the WVU media team. Does a great job with these, making these after wins. I'll try and share them here throughout the week on our live streams when we do get the wins because they do such a great job with them. So we share their uniform reveal video. Now we're going to share the cinematic recap. It's about 2 minutes long, guys. Then we will pop back up on here one more time, share, our kind of final thoughts heading into the game. And if you guys got any predictions, we'll share those here on the screen from you guys in the chat as well. Drop them in there here in the last few minutes of the show. But here is the cinematic recap from the game against Albany, or Albany, I guess I should say.
Everything we want is still in front of us. 1, 2, 3.
Ain't no mercy. Ain't no mercy.
Block 5, end zone, touchdown. Garrett Green set the final block, and Jaheim White runs it into the end zone.
Ain't no mercy. Ain't no mercy. That purple Lamborghini lurking.
Caught by Cole Taylor, who's to the 15, 10-5 end zone, touchdown. Garrett Green, a 39-yard strike down the middle to Cole Taylor. Touchdown, Hudson Clement, quick slam. CJ's in the end zone, another touchdown for the gold and blue. And here's Nico running it up the middle for the touchdown.
That's part of the night right here, baby. Let's start it out. Yeah.
All right. Great stuff there from the WVU media team, as always. Love that they showed the little clip of the lights in there because that was one of the coolest parts of last week's game, man. Those new lights are awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Like, I love it. Like, in the videos, like, it gets way darker in there than what it actually gets, though. I will say that.
True.
Yeah,
it does.
I guess it can only get so dark when you turn off the lights.
Yeah, well, it's like because they made that rule where you can't completely cut them off after, last year at Oklahoma when they cut them off, and then we got into a fight with them in the end zone or whatever when the lights went out. So then Big 12 made the rule can't completely shut them off anymore, unfortunately. Which I understand, I guess, for safety purposes, but
yeah,
it'd still be cool to be able to.
Is that caused by the lights going out though?
Yeah, that's what they were saying is like because then when the lights went out, people were throwing punches and stuff, and so they're like, if that's going to happen, then they just made a rule where nobody can do it. So,
yeah, I guess.
Which I don't know if that was
caused.
I feel like it probably would have happened without the lights going off, but
yeah, no doubt.
It is what it is.
Fights never happen when the lights are on.
No, never at all. But that's pretty much all I had to share. Steven, what you got here? Final thoughts, just a little bit under 48 hours away now from the 107th Backyard Brawl. West Virginia heading into the Berg to take on the Panthers.
Hoping for another WVU victory. I'm like, hoping for another. I'm getting a shirt made because that's what we do in this rivalry, right? We get shirts made when our team wins and we put the score on there.
Yeah, that's
so I'm hoping to add one to a shirt I'm getting made there.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, man. I'm hoping to see, because it's been played 2 games since this rivalry's been renewed. It's been 1 each. Neither team's won on the road yet. So I'm looking to be, the first team that wins on the road and the first team that wins 2 in a row since the rivalry has been renewed. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yep. And it's always bragging rights. So
definitely. For sure, man. Got a good one going between Arizona State and Texas State right now with we're talking Big 12 interest there, tied up at halftime. So get ready to wrap this one up and get off here and watch the second half of that game. And if you guys want to find out about the results of it and the results of the other Big 12 games, we'll be talking about that on our Backyard Brawl review and reaction podcast. We'll be releasing on Monday. So be on the lookout for that on Monday. We'll be reviewing hopefully a West Virginia victory, but either way, we'll be talking about the results of that game, the results of the other games around the Big 12 conference. You guys can check that out on Monday. Appreciate everybody that hopped in here, shared your predictions. If you didn't get a chance to hop in here live, share them in the comments. We appreciate that still yet. And, whether you watch this live or if you're watching on a playback, be sure to just hit that thumbs up button before you head out. Helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe here, of course. Ton of Mountaineer football content coming throughout this 2024 season. And, Steven, I only got one thing left to say before we close that up. And you know what that is? Eat shit, Pitt.
Yeah. I thought it was.
Eat shit, Pitt. Eat shit, Pitt, man. Nothing else has to be said. That's the perfect way to close out the night here for our game week stream this week. Catch these every week, usually on Thursday nights. You guys, after you hear our predictions on the podcast, you can come share yours here live with us on Thursday evening. So appreciate you guys that came here and tuned into this one live or tuned in on the playback as well. Looking forward to a fun Backyard Brawl in the 107th edition. Hopefully the Mountaineers come out on top. Having said that, for my co-host Steven, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz. And until next time, let's go Mountaineers.